What's up, Peep Squad? Peep Squad is in the building, baby. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'll be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart. My peeps, my peoples, Peep Squad is in the building, so let's get into it. Let's talk about basketball wives. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. It seems like they are trying to big up Kristen Scott as one of the dark-skinned women on the show to represent that there is no colorism. And also, it seems like they are not uplifting OG. They're basically making it seem like OG got a problem and she is the one with the issue. So they're lifting up one to basically say, no, we don't have any problems and any issues at all. But in any event, Shaunie and EvelynLozada, they have to do what they have to do to handle their business because, their brand is being affected by these allegations of colorism. And some people are not watching Basketball Wife because of that reason. And they just think it's unfair treatment and they don't want to support the brand. So Shaunie O'Neal and EvelynLozada have to do everything possible that they could, to basically, make sure that they don't come off as if they have colorist issues or racist, because who support them? Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of black women. So it is what it is. So let's get into the situation. Let's just talk about what is going on. It is going down. So Jennifer, she checks on Kristen Scott and want to see how Kristen Scott's doing. How's everything going with her? Because Jennifer is feeling a certain type of way. She's feeling like, oh my God, it was so courageous and, so noble that Kristen Scott came over here and she wanted to talk to OG. But, OG didn't want to really have that conversation, and basically she's bigging up Kristen Scott and also making it seem like OG is the one with the problem and the issues. So is it basically building up and lifting up Kristen Scott, saying you're courageous, you're noble for actually sitting down and wanting to talk to OG, because they're making it seem like OG is actually an issue, she's a problem, and that she's aggressive and that she's not agreeable. So they're trying to really elevate that and point that out in this situation. So I was just like, Lord have mercy, what is really going on? It's like But in any event, basically Jennifer is just saying that you were so noble and courageous. You came over here trying to make a good situation happen between you and OG and try to understand her, and she just wasn't here for the situation. So it is what it is. And so Kristen Scott was like, I just can't believe what happened. I just wanted to have a conversation with her because I'm a woman of melanin and she has melanin too as well. So I haven't experienced any colorism in this group. So I wanted to understand her experience with colorism and what she feels about the situation and her thoughts and examples are basically. And so Kristen Scott goes, basically, Jennifer, have you felt any colorism? You haven't felt any colorism at all? Do you think there's a colorism issue in the group? And Jennifer was like, it seems like Jennifer said no to the situation. She said, no, that's not. She hasn't felt that way. She hasn't felt like OG has felt. So basically they're saying that they are two dark-skinned women and they have not experienced the colorism experience that OG is, saying that she has experienced. So it is what it is with that situation. So I'm like, Lord, they are really doing the most when it comes to this situation. And then Kristen Scott, she jumps in and she was like, you know what, Jen, you need to come over to the house. Ain't nobody mad at you. Shaunie's not mad at you anymore. Evelyn's not mad at you no more. No one's mad at you no more. So it seemed like Kristen Scott wanted to make sure she knew where Jennifer's head was, and Jennifer was like basically on her side. And so she let her know, well, the group is okay with you, girl. You're welcome back in. And it seems like Jennifer doesn't want to say anything about the situation, and she's not, because she sees what's going on with OG in her situation. And maybe she hasn't felt colorism at all, but she sees how OG is really, outside of the circle, and they're not even trying to even rationalize with her, even sit down, have a conversation with her. And they haven't EvelynLozada filed a lawsuit against OG, which was basically they couldn't find, and it came out inconclusive, the lawsuit that EvelynLozada had with OG, and OG countersued. So Jennifer's looking at like, I have said some things about Shaquille O'Neal, I have said some things about Evelyn, her daughter, but if I say anything about colorism, they definitely ain't gonna take me back. I'm assuming, but Jennifer may have never, experienced colorism because she was always a part of the it crowd. She was in the it group. But Jackie is feeling a certain type of way when it comes to Jennifer, because she had to correct Jennifer and let her know, girl, the way that you came off to me yesterday and the way that you was talking, it can't happen that way. Like, you was really disrespectful. So Jackie's coming at Jennifer like, we talk among the group, and I was just telling the ladies about your situation and what you said about whether you wanted to have a conversation or go to the other house or not, and you're gonna come and chew my tongue off and chew my head off. So Jackie is confronting, Jennifer to let her know that, you better bag back, you better watch out, because we gonna have some serious problem. You ain't gonna just be beefing with one person. So you guys let me know what you think about that situation. And Jennifer was like, we got no beef, we got no beef with the situation, so it is what it is. So Jennifer was like, you know what, I don't want another problem, I don't want another situation, point blank, period. So Jennifer is just like, okay, she's agreeable to Jackie in any event. And we have Kristen Scott. Kristen Scott is over here basically letting the ladies know what's up, that Jennifer supports her and Jennifer, has her back, and EvelynLozada is so happy about the situation. Evelyn was like, oh my God, it feels so refreshing to know that Jennifer is basically, telling the truth about the situation, and she's supporting us, and she's not going against us, because she's been a part of our group the longest, and she's a dark-skinned woman. So Evelyn is feeling like, since Jennifer said that she hasn't experienced any colorism, that Jennifer is back in the cool cage, and she's respecting Jennifer so much, because there's a lot on the line when it comes to EvelynLozada and Shaunie O'Neal and their brand, and being accused of having colorist issues and being racist is a serious situation. People take heed to that, and they won't support your project or whatever you are doing. And that's why EvelynLozada said she was in the court, because she lost some contracts and some bookings, baby. So it is what it is with that situation. And then also when it comes to Kristen Scott, she let them know that, Jackie was cool too, and Jackie was supportive. So it's like one of them situations where it's about, the table's about to turn. Jennifer's about to get welcomed back in. She done already got the word from Kristen Scott that, she's welcome back in the house. But also the situation is, Kristen Scott tells, Shaunie that the problem is, Shaunie, is that Jennifer said that you said something at the reunion about her not being able to vacation or go on trips with y'all, and so she was mad about that. And then, Shaunie is basically saying, for real, she's mad about that just because we can't go vacation. So Shaunie's like, okay, so yes, it's a problem when you isolate someone and you say that you can't go on this trip, you can't go with me. That's making it seem like something's wrong with them. The same thing that they did to OG, basically having OG on a separate stage, and you can't come to the dinner, in Costa Rica, the goodbye dinner. So, she don't want to feel that way. So, Jennifer is basically saying, I'm coming back home, Shaunie. Is the door open? So, you got that situation going on. And Shaunie said she just upset about that. That was a long time ago. There's way more important things going on. Way more things happening. Like, I can't believe that's just so important, whether she vacation with me or not. And basically, Shaunie is saying, come on home, Jennifer. I ain't gonna beg you to come over here. I ain't gonna beg you to come to the house. I ain't gonna beg you to be my friend. But we ain't got no issue. So Shaunie says she ain't got no issue with Jennifer. It's all cool. As long as Jennifer fall in line and basically say that everything is all good, and Shaunie O'Neal and EvelynLozada do not have a colorist bone in their body, or she could have never experienced it. So you could just tell me what you think about that situation. I was like, Lord. And then we got the ladies working out. They're showing OG being so tough and so strong and using her muscles. And then they have Evelyn and they have Shaunie and, Malaysia, doing something real simple, real like, yoga and everything else, calm, cool, and collected. So many subtle messages that are being thrown out here in these streets, baby. So, and we also have, EvelynLozada daughter. She done came through to teach the girls some yoga. Basically, that's the situation. And throughout this situation, Malaysia feels like, you know what? I want to, have a situation where my situation ain't that bad with Jackie at all. So now Malaysia is feeling good. Malaysia is feeling like, okay, maybe, it's not that big of a deal. And plus, she still likes Jackie. And they used to be her friend. They used to be road dogs, Blase the third. You know how that situation goes. And, Kristen is basically, she's carrying the bone, and she's on a good team, and she's being uplifted on the show. Like, she had bravery and courage to go talk to OG. Like, it was so difficult to go have a conversation with OG. Like, come on, like, they still portraying that picture of OG, which is just like And then we have the sisters, Nora, Rora, Noria, or whatever her name is, and Nora. Basically, I fumbled that name, baby. So you have the two sisters. They arrived. They have lost their father, and basically it's gonna go down with their situation. They're finding out what's going on. They're identifying with OG. They like OG. It's like a good situation going on. So we'll see how it pans out. And Jennifer relates to the new girls too as well. So we're gonna see how the Memphis sisters are going to pan out. And we know one of the Memphis sisters, Nomura, she is married, to a former NBA player. And then the other sister, Naya, she's basically, she's just out here in these streets handling her business. She's a businesswoman. So moving on from that situation, but they really trying to paint OG really in a really bad light. Like, Lord have mercy. And OG showing her vulnerable side. She's cooking for the ladies. She feel comfortable. And OG said basically she doesn't want to talk about the colorist issues. She don't want to talk about anything about that. She just wants to have fun, and basically having a conversation, with Kristen Scott was too much, and it really annoyed her because she's saying Kristen Scott is just a liar. She don't be telling the truth. And basically she wasn't ready for that conversation. She had to regroup because basically she feels like she has someone in her face lying to her and gaslighting her and acting like everything's all good. Like, they never, they don't even understand what she's talking about. She also feels like she doesn't have to be the teacher. And she's also noticing that Jackie Christie and also Jennifer Williams are not really, in agreement with her, and they don't offer her any real compassion towards her situation of feeling and not feeling but experiencing colorism. So she's up against a hard rock. It is what it is, but she gonna handle it anyway, as long as she keeps recording. And now the ladies are playing this game, to basically have what's her name, Liza, come out of her shell and basically get over Lamar Odom. And they're asking her all types of personal weird questions and things of that nature. Did she freak this? Did she do this? And she's basically pleading the fifth, and she ends up drinking a lot. They're trying to tell her to move on from Lamar Odom. Don't worry about him. Let his kids handle it. Evelyn and Shaunie got so much to say, and they got all these rich multi-millionaire people that are giving them paychecks and money. She ain't never lived that life like y'all lived at all with Lamar Odom, because he was on that stuff and everything else like that. So they're telling her, just don't worry about him. She said she's trying to get to a good place where she can co-parent or whatever the case may be. So they're trying to loosen her up. So they're playing like a high stake game of true dare, double dare, whatever the case may be. But with her situation, she wants to keep the doors open. And she said, these ladies are really blunt on this show. So she's feeling some of the heat too as well, because they're so quick to tell her what to do. But it took them a long time to get their situation the way that they wanted. So in any event, we know you got to have EvelynLozada. She has to play the prank call. She prank calls Jackie and basically tells Jackie that Doug is doing something physical to her. When a woman call your phone, it's like, your husband did this to me. When you kiss your husband, you taste this. Blase in the third. I was like, it had to be Evelyn had to go down the gutter and say that about somebody's husband, because she don't got one. She would have been offended if it was her husband. She would have been offended if somebody was talking about her boyfriend. Somebody was talking about Chad Seco using her abuser against her, and that situation. And let's also not forget Kristen Scott. Kristen Scott was in the kitchen and she was cooking some eggs, and she was like, oh, you want the brown eggs, Malaysia? You want the brown eggs? We love all the color shades of brown. So basically we have Kristen Scott that's over here shading OG, because OG saying talking about her not being accepted in the group and also experiencing colorism. So she's basically saying we love all shades of brown, that OG don't know what she's talking about. So she's taking shots. So this basically shows you that when the scenes cut, you don't know what these people are saying to the other cast members to egg them on or make them uncomfortable, and then you cut to start filming. So you guys let me know what you think about that situation. But yeah, in any event, EvelynLozada had to call Jackie. Jackie's all upset about the situation. She thinking somebody gonna take her husband, and she's kind of like pissed pissed off and mad about it, and she's all up in arms. I was like, what's going on? And then we got Malaysia. Malaysia is ready to have a conversation, to sit down and talk to Jackie, and she wants to find out what's going on with Jackie. She wants to forgive Jackie, because basically she's saying Jackie ain't doing what OG's doing. So what she's doing is very, their situation is forgivable, and hopefully, Jackie doesn't bring, any, people from straight from Instagram or the internet shading Jackie, basically saying she ain't got no friends and she's meeting people off Instagram because of that dude Anthony, and that's in that situation. So, Malaysia's over here. She is shading Jackie Christie, basically saying she ain't got no friends. And she also wants Jackie to apologize and Jackie to talk about, why is she talking about my child, and why she's spreading these rumors, and why is she going to the blogs and all of that nature when it comes to Malaysia. So, So you guys let me know what you think about that situation. I was like, Lord, but they're going to end up making up because, Jackie's welcome to the circle. She is doing what, they would like her to do. She's being very agreeable. She's keeping the other ladies on the show too as well, so they can film separately, so they can make it easy and say that, oh, we didn't bash OG from the, from the show, but they're still filming separately with OG, basically pointing out that OG is an issue, and we don't want to film with her because of the issues we believe that she has. So it is what it is with that situation. So I was just like, Lord have mercy, it is going down. Like, they be doing way too much, for real, way too much. And so, OG ends up cooking the ladies dinner, and, she's making a Nigerian dish for the ladies, which is very nice, and it's all good, and she's just being open. And basically, Jennifer said that she ends up talking to, Kristen Scott, and when she was talking to Kristen Scott, she was saying that Kristen Scott was so noble of coming over there and having a conversation with OG, and OG stopped her dead in her tracks. Like, what do you mean she's noble? You never said I did anything noble. Why are you saying her having a conversation with me is noble? Like, like she had to break down all the limits and put down all her fears and have a conversation with me, or whatever the case may be. Jennifer might be saying because you already know the other side don't mess with you, and for her to come over here and talk to you, that's the issue. But the issue is they are lifting up Kristen and downing, OG. And so with that situation, OG's like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean that was noble? What are you talking about? I was like, damn. And when it came to, Jennifer Williams, Jennifer was like, I think it was noble that she came over here and tried to squash the beef. She came over here, tried to have an understanding. And OG was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're even going there. I can't believe that you're even saying that. Like, what is noble about doing that? She didn't say anything. She came over here to interrogate me and question me. And also, when I tried to ask her, I tried to give her examples of where she showed colorism and favoritism too as well, and have a conversation with her about that. She had no idea what was going on when she had put me in that position where I experienced colorism through Kristen Scott. And Kristen Scott saying there's no way that you experienced that for me because we the same color. So the sisters wanted to know the sisters was like, Namora and Naya basically wanted to know what was going on with the situation, and they also talked about their experience and what they felt and what they went through. They sympathized, with OG, and they just wanted to know what was going on. And also, one of the sisters, spoke about, when she was a kid, like she was put in a corner in the classroom, every day because of the color of her skin, and she was mistreated. And so many of our children have been mistreated and throughout a school system because of colorism and racism too as well. And of that situation that where sometimes you will have teachers tell students, especially black students, you might as well just drop out of school because you're not going to make anything out of yourself, and you're not going to make it because you're this, because you're that. And so OG is basically saying that she had experienced that as well as a child when she was 9 years old in a private school. And so throughout that, she always wants to speak up when she experienced any colorism, because she wasn't able to speak up then when she was actually 9 years old. So she said it really bothers her and it really triggers her when she actually feels that way, and she know what it is. She experienced it before, and basically it hurts, and she just started to cry. And the sisters, one of the sisters went to go check on OG to make sure she was all right. Jackie didn't go check on her. Jackie done known her the longest than the other two sisters, and Jackie didn't even go check, and Kristen, not Kristen Scott, but Jennifer Williams, she didn't even go check on OG. It's like it almost seems like they're done with OG. But in any event, so that's the situation that went down, and Jackie did go over there to talk to Malaysia. And when she had that conversation with Malaysia, they're about to sit down and have that conversation and handle their business with that. But Jackie wants an apology too. Jackie wants things to be right too as well. So we're going to get to that situation. I mean, it is going down. So I'm like, you guys tell me what you think about this situation. Please subscribe to the new channel. It will be in the description box down below. But yes, there is a whole lot going on with this situation, baby. It is so much, that once you see, you're like, damn, like this is crazy. These issues, that are happening. And it's just like, it is almost pitting two dark-skinned girls against each other, because one is with the in crowd and one is not with the in crowd, and just to see how people kind of like just change up a little bit. So it is what it is. And OG, she really feels hurt, and they're not going to see it for her at all. And so Jackie takes Nomura takes Nomura and takes Naya over there to the other house, and basically she's gonna sit down and have a conversation with Malaysia. And it was a whole lot of static in that room, baby. It was a lot of static in that room, for real. Like they didn't know what to expect, because basically the collective didn't really want to meet the new girls, because they're saying that when Jackie brings new people to the table, she ends up beefing with them and she ends up fighting with them. So they're still shading Jackie too as well. It's like one of them situations like So you guys let me know your thoughts and your opinion, or is your opinion and your thoughts changing on a situation of the colorist issue? Do you feel like there's colorist issues on Basketball Wife? Let me know. Peace.